Derek writes, the end of 2013 saw Gravity. The end of 2014, we're going to see Interstellar. What makes space the go-to location for Oscar bait?
I don't know if it's necessarily the go-to. Miriam, what your take on it?
I just had this conversation with somebody, and there is definitely, I think there's always been an interest in outer space in films. I mean, obviously I could list examples, but I could be here all day listing examples. I think there's just a universal human curiosity about what's out there, particularly as conditions on our planet do get worse. We are hearing more news about climate change and issues with the environment, issues with food scarcity, issues with communicable diseases. I mean, like, there's so many, news is everywhere, it's viral, there's so many ways to get information, so we're more aware of bad news than ever before. And there's a lot of bad things happening, so I think it's totally natural. I think since the dawn of man, we've been looking at the stars for information, and it's also really cinematic. Outer space lends itself well to film. And Interstellar, I mean, I've seen it, and I'm not gonna say too much about it other than that visually it is mind-blowing to see space travel, and especially as Christopher Nolan imagines it, and to see great directors and great filmmakers imagine space. Cuarón did an amazing job with Gravity and being so close to Earth and yet so far away, and he created such a beautiful environment and world, and I just think it lends itself well. I think it's cinematic, I think it's operatic, I think it's beautiful. It's, you know, we are all made of stardust, and yet it's such a difficult environment to penetrate. We're not designed to be off of our planet, really, if you think about it. So it makes for great stakes in film.
Christian?
I think it's also coincidental, because I don't think Cuarón in December was supposed to always come out in December.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of stuff that you talk about. Downey was originally the first person to be in that. It wasn't supposed to be Clooney. And it's like there's a lot of things that just happened, and it put it into motion that it was released in December. Now the same thing. Well, the difference is with Nolan. Nolan knows and plans out his movies in advance. He knew he wanted to do a movie about dreams, and he did it. He wanted, and then he had the Batman franchise kind of lined up when he had to do that, and he always had an idea for Interstellar. So I think it's coincidental. I really do. Do I think that it also, is there something that we're fascinated as humans that we want to learn more about space, and that's why it happens to land in the Oscar season, because people are so fascinated by it, and if it's painted by directors like Cuarón and Nolan in such a fascinating light that we visually just gravitate towards it, I guess pun intended. So it's, I think that's really what is more coincidental than anything else, but I think that our fascination as human beings is why it may be even the Oscar voter, the Academy voters, because they're so fascinated by it.
Well, I think we're going to see a growth in sci-fi films, and it's kind of similar to the comic book and superhero genre, where now we've come to a place where visual effects and technology-wise, you can create the visuals that people see on screen. You know, it took a long time for comic books films. I mean, sci-fi films have been always a little more respected by the Academy, but now we're going to get into that. And yeah, we've actually seen at least, not a lot, but at least several sci-fi films be nominated for Oscars. I don't think any of them have won, but we had let's see, Avatar, District 9, Gravity, A Clockwork Orange, Star Wars, E.T., Inception. None of them have won, but at least they've been nominated. We haven't had that with the comic book genre yet. And so if you're a director, maybe you're like, I can do a genre film, but and still have a chance at an Oscar. So I think that's part of the reason.
One more sci-fi film next December, just saying.
The Martian?
No, it's Star Wars, man.
Oh.
And also Jupiter Ascending's coming out next year.
I think in January. February.
I mean, there's always, I think sci-fi is a staple genre.
And it's coming back now more too. Even Guardians itself, like Guardians was the first, we knew Star Wars was coming back, but Guardians was that one that said, hey, the space opera's back, and now you get into the more serious with The Martian and with Interstellar, but yeah, the sci-fi. I'm glad I love sci-fi.
Bring back westerns. Just saying.
It's hard.
I know, they don't make money.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC movie talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.